Hello devs, welcome to this chapter. Yes, CSS tutorials for beginners. In this chapter we are going to cover some interesting properties in what CSS. We are going to cover some interesting properties in CSS. So before we start, we are going to look at CSS unit. So these are the most used CSS unit. So the pixel right now here is fixed. Yes, when you use pixels, they are fixed. Yes, pixels are fixed no matter how you increase or decrease the weight of your windows, the weight of your screen, or how it appears on different devices. That unit is going to be the same, it won't change. But for the em and then the rem and then the percentage, they are responsive. Yes, they are responsive, so they increase or decrease according to the device that they appear on. So pixels using px is for fixed. That's what you have to know. Px is fixed. Em, rem, and percentage, that's the percentage sign, they are what? Mobile responsiveness. Yes. So next, let's look at CSS height and weight. CSS height and weight. Let's say a refresh. So we will do that using an empty div so that we get a better view of it. Save, refresh, and let's move into our style sheet. Let's select our div. Let's give it a border. Please, if you are confused what border is, that means you are new. Please check the previous tutorial. The link is in the description below. Yes, you can see it right below. You can see it. That's the link. Thank you. So the border, let's give it 1 pixel. See the unit that I'm using. I'm making use of the unit 1 pixel. Solid. Let's use black. Let's save and refresh. We are not going to by default we've talked about div being a block element. So this is it. So with this we can control the width and the height. Yes, we can control how wide it should become, or how the height should be. So with the width, let's maintain the width to be 100, full width, and let's play with the height. Let's use 20 pixels and see. Let's save and refresh. You see it has increased. No matter how I increase or decrease the screen, it's still going to be 20 pixels. How I increase or decrease the screen is still going to be 20 pixels. So we have pixels, we have em, you save, you refresh, see responsiveness. So I can choose decrease it or increase it. Do you understand? So going to response, you can use percentage tool. That one too works perfectly. So that's the weight and the height. So with this one too, you can also change the weight. If you want to change, you can change it by specifying width. I want 50 pixels. Yes, and the height I want 30 pixels. You can do that. It's going to work perfectly. Yes, this is how it's working. Perfect. So this is the width and the height. So you can control the width of it, you can control the height, but the width px is fixed, and the rem, em, and the percentage are responsive. So next on the list, we are going to look at CSS margin and padding. CSS margin and padding. CSS margin and padding. CSS margin and padding. Save. Let's see. So with margin and padding, CSS padding, what is that? CSS padding properties are used to generate space around an element content inside of any defined borders. There are properties for setting the padding for each side of the element. That's the top, the right, bottom, and the left. So padding is for inside. Padding is for inside, and margin is the opposite of padding. If padding is inside, then margin is outside. If margin is outside, padding is inside. So padding is within an element, and margin is outside the element. So for instance, this div right now, we can give it a padding of 1 rem and save. That means we want the space inside should what 1 rem. You see, yes, and then same applies. You can change it and make it margin of 1 rem. Save. It's going to what create a space outside. You see, it has shifted, or it has squeezed itself inside. You see, so increase it and you see how what is going to squeeze itself. Let's see. Observe. See how it has squeezed itself down. That's it. That's the margin and what padding. And also this padding is what shortcuts. That means both for top, bottom, and the right. Top, bottom, right. Let me break it down. So padding, upon typing padding, you can what see we have padding itself, padding top, padding bottom, padding left, and what padding right. So the padding top, you are going to what give the space what's inside the element. That's for the top part, and bottom will be for the down, left is for the left, right is for the right. And same applies to margin. You can do same for the top, bottom, left, and right. And let's play with a shortcut, because the shortcuts will really save time when what developing your website. So with this padding, for instance, when I specify 2 rem, then I save it, I refresh, it's going to apply to the entire corners of it. That's the top, bottom, left, and right. This is what it does. But when I add another measurement, say 1 rem, what this is going to do right now is that it's going to what the first unit, the first number, that's the 2 rem, means top and down. For the vertical, that's the y, top and down, it's going to be 2 rem, and then the 1 is going to take the horizontal, that's the left and right. So when I save and refresh, you see it's going to what okay, let me just put something in this div so that what we see it clearly. Oh, what's that? Let me save and refresh. Right now you see that this hello world right now, the distance at the top and the distance at the bottom is different from the left and the right. Okay, let me make some long text so that we just actually this text is huge. Let me see. Okay, sorry, let me save and refresh. Okay, you can just see it clearly right now that the top and down is different from the left and right, because the top, we said the top and down should be 2 rem and the left and right should be 1 rem. So this is what it does. And also you can choose to specify using this shortcut without you typing border top, border right, border this, border left. You can use this. Say right now I want my border top to be 2 rem, but my right should be what 3 rem, my bottom should be 4 rem, and my left should be 5 rem. I save, I refresh. You're going to see the changes: 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the border. So when you make it margin, when you change the border to margin, that is going to be what the space outside it. That is going to be the space outside it. You see how it is, how it has become. It's the space outside, not the space inside. So margin is outside and padding is inside. Margin is outside and padding is inside. So okay, let's play. Let's do something right now and see it clearly. See another div. Sorry. Oh, sorry about the angle brackets. Forgot div. Let me indent it very well so that we see it clearly. Okay. No, we already talked about selecting using class. Selecting using class. So I can give this one a class of sub. And I can give this one a class of main. Sorry, main. I save I refreshed, nothing is going to work. It's going to apply both. Everything they changes. So I can say we select what. So I want this margin to affect the sub one. So sub save. Okay, and then let's tackle the main one. The main, let's give it also a border, 1 pixel solid. Let's use red. Let's give it padding, same as the top one, and see the difference. 3 rem, 4 rem, and 5 rem. Let me save, refresh. Okay, so you see, so for the sub one we gave it a what margin. Oh, I've turned it. It's going to be the other way around. Let me see it and refresh. Okay, so margin is inside. Right now you see they are all overlapping. What the reason why they are overlapping is that for the sub I gave it padding. That means you have a space within it, right? And then the main is you have a space outside it, so it's going to squeeze itself. So you can see the space on top of this one is different from the space at the left. So playing around with this one is really interesting, because you are really going to use margin and padding in your journey. So in this chapter we've taken a look at CSS unit. Taking a look at CSS weight, CSS height, CSS padding, CSS margin. That we realize that the PX is for fixed, rem, em, and percentage for responsiveness. We looked at padding, that's a space inside an element, and margin is a space outside an element. So this is the end of this chapter.